yeah, it's okay. So going into the presentation, I think that's why I sought your assistance, because I know that you you came from a place where you knew you wanted to improve your public speaking, you know, and I read your book, and, you know, I knew that you were very relatable in that aspect, that, hey, I'm not the strongest public speaker. I wasn't the strongest public speaker. And then you went through all of these, like the Toastmasters and all of these ways of improving that, because it was something very important to you that you wanted to build and to strengthen. And I really appreciated that. I knew that, and that's why I reached out to you, because you were very relatable in that aspect. And I thought, well, I mean, I read your book. I thought, my gosh, you know, he was this nervous speaker, and he went from that to, and then I watched you give a presentation. I can't remember, it was for that musician, or was he a musician? Yeah, it was a piano player. And my friend, yep. And I saw you give that presentation. I'm like, wow, I can't believe he ever had an issue with public speaking, because it didn't look like you had an issue at all.
I'd almost forgotten about that speech. Yeah.
Yes, that was great. And I thought, well, wow, that really impressed me. So when I reached out to you, for me, it was basically, you know, I had everything that I wanted to say in the presentation. Everything was organized. You know, the PowerPoint, everything was there. I know the subject because it's my company, it's my product. The thing I needed from you was that reassurance that, you know, because this isn't like me teaching somebody, it was me presenting, you know, representing my company, representing my product. So I needed that reassurance, a pep talk, almost a confidence builder for me, you know, utilizing you as that skilled public speaking specialist. I needed you to say, hey, Amy, this is what I've come to find helps me out, you know, especially looking at before the presentation, during the presentation, you know, all of that, the breathing exercises beforehand. You know, for me, that's the big thing. The big thing is before the presentation, that's when I'm the most nervous. Right. And because you just don't know what to expect. When you mentioned, you know, the breathing exercises and the walking around and just engaging in a conversation, drinking that water, you know, and I remember before that presentation that you gave for that musician friend of yours, you did engage in conversation. You engaged in a conversation with me and my husband and RL. And I thought, yeah, you know, he practices what he preaches. But, you know, the whole idea with that did, you know, give me something to just kind of lessen my nervousness. You know, the breathing was really a big thing, and the drinking water. And obviously my husband was there. He was videoing the presentation for me. So, you know, talking to him, it kind of gave me a way of just, you know, thinking about something else other than what we were going to do. I needed my mind to be kind of taken off of that for a minute. Right. So when you mentioned that beforehand, you also mentioned, I think you said something to the effect that, you know, this isn't going to be 100% perfect. And for me, I'm a perfectionist. So saying that to me is like, oh, okay, well, we'll see.
Me too.
I'm
a perfectionist.
Yeah, that can be
so hard to get over being a perfectionist, and knowing that you have to stop at some point, and you really need to just go with what you have, and you can always refine later. Because if I had that attitude that I need to have my first speech absolutely perfect, I would have been crushed under the pressure. And you just have to be okay with, okay, so I prepared good enough for the time that I have, and that is all I can do.
That's all you can do. And I always prepare for everything I've ever done. And I think because I'm a nervous individual, I need to do that. If I didn't do that, oh my God, it would just be chaos. Right. And I need to have some form of control. So for me, that control comes with extreme preparation. And I remember before I gave the presentation at Women in Aviation at that convention, I gave the presentation to my husband in the hotel room. Mm-hmm. And it was close to perfect. I mean, it was awesome. And I thought, okay, after that, And even my husband said, Amy, wow, you crushed it. And I thought, awesome. Okay, this is good. This is a good moment
Right.
going into it, because I was going to give the presentation in about 20 minutes. And I thought, this is perfect. This is perfect. I can do this. But then when you get there, and then
Mm-hmm.
obviously there's more than just your husband sitting there.
Right.
And so I think that's where like the breathing and the walking around and the drinking the water, and I those are little moments that can take your mind off of that nervousness for a while. And that did help, because once I'm in it and once I start talking about the product and the company, then, and I get some questions from individuals, then I start to relax, because I know that the reason they're there is they want to learn about, they're interested, right? They're interested.
Right.
They're not just there, they're not there to judge you, actually. They're there because they're interested in what you have to say.
Right.
And you have to remember that as well. But knowing that it's not going to be 100% perfect, because after that presentation, I knew it was okay. I did a good job, but I did a better job when I gave the presentation to my husband, and it had to do with that nervousness.
Right.
But that comes with practice, and immediately after that presentation, I thought, I want to do it again. I really wanted to do it again and again and again and again. And that really, it's kind of it almost becomes an addiction. Like maybe that is a part of the trying to make it as close to perfect as possible. You want to keep trying to improve that skill. Right. Because it can be, for some people, I think for actually a lot of people, public speaking is not, it's not a fun thing to do. No. And why we should be afraid of it, it's upsetting, because that can prevent you from doing quite a few things in life.
Doing great things, yeah.
Yeah, doing great things. And why should that fear prevent you from doing